Hello, I am at your door. I know you're awake, and it's close to 4. Let me in, I am the why you are still awake. You and I make a big mistake. Hello, hello.
Hi, this isn't Kylie Minogue, and I love listening to Time to Talk.
I'm speaking with John. John, you gave Tension 2 -3 out of 10. It sounds like you don't like that album.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't really listen to it altogether. No.
So what made you give it a -3? Do you like Kylie?
I did like Kylie, yes. I don't like Kylie today, and I don't like Kylie as of 1997.
Ooh, what happened in 1997? She was doing Impossible Princess and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I understand she was trying to do her own stuff and, setting free from the PWL thing. Since then, 1997, I thought it was watered down, and Tension 2. I don't get the point of that even. Sorry.
That's all right. So you haven't listened to it, but
No.
can I ask this question? Did you
Yes.
like Spinning Around?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Okay, Can't Get You Out of My Head?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Okay, and do you know the song Slow? Did you like that?
No.
All right. So, John, I want to set you a challenge. Am I allowed
Yeah.
to set you a challenge?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right. Before I set the challenge, I just want to know a few things. How do you listen to music? Do you listen to it on Spotify or CD or record? How do you listen to your music these days?
On my own cassette CD singles.
Yeah. So you have a CD player, do you?
Yeah, sure. And a
Okay.
cassette player. So I listen to music on my cassette singles,
Uh-huh.
or cassettes, or CDs, yeah. Or
Okay.
vinyl.
All right. So that means you have to buy a physical copy. Do you ever use Spotify or Apple Music?
No.
Okay, fair enough. So if I set a challenge for you to listen to Tension 2 and
Yeah.
then we spoke again sometime, that would be a bit hard because you'd have to actually buy it, right?
I wouldn't buy it.
Exactly. So my challenge was going to be I want you to listen to it and then we're going to talk again. But I'm guessing we can't because that's an expensive thing for you to do, to buy it, isn't it?
It's not expensive. I have the money, but I don't have the
will,
uh,
the desire.
I don't have the desire to listen to upspent music. No.
What's it called? Upspent music?
Yeah, that's my term for saying that.
Do you know what? Actually, John, you would have YouTube, right? You watch YouTube?
Not that much, no.
Okay. So I'm not going to be able to convince you to listen to it because for the listeners who are listening, we're speaking to John because on a Facebook post, I asked people to put their rating out of 10 for Tension 2. And one of them stood out to me that this is John here. He put -3. And I'm hearing him, he's saying that, yeah, maybe Kylie of the old days is well and truly gone, and that's true. But, John, I really want to set you the challenge to listen to it, but you don't want to, do you?
No.
Oh, I think you'd like it. Because if you like old school Kylie, the Kylie from the PWL days,
Yes.
this album, it's a little bit like it in the sense that it's dance music and it's fun.
Fuck.
Are you okay, John?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay. Tell me what's funny, John.
Oh fuck.
Oh, goodness.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, I
No,
was. No, what the question again? You saying to me that I should. Uh, no, wait.
okay.
Fuck, I'm too drunk. No, sorry. No, I wasn't drunk. I'm okay. Wait. You're saying to me that I should listen to the old Carly PWL and compare it to this one,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um, I think that. Why are you laughing?
I like the way you're trying to figure this out because maybe
Yeah.
you don't believe me, do you? That it's like the old PWL music in some ways. You don't believe me.
No, I don't. It's the way that I believe that. Harry. In the way I believe you, in the way that you've got a pool with no water in it. Yeah, but no. Honestly, I think that seriously, I wrote a comment,
Yeah,
which I think which you took onto, um,
I did.
saying that I think that it's not just about Carly herself. It's about how the industry has evolved, and there is no way that she can ever get back to that kind of uh, registry or uh, artistry that she had.
But how do you
Um,
explain, John? How do you explain that she's more successful than she's ever been? How do you explain that if she's nowhere near as good as she was?
Come again?
So Kylie's as big as she's ever been. She's more successful now than she's ever
Is
been in her whole career.
How do you measure that?
What a good question. How do we measure that, folks? Well, we measure that by the fact that she is now huge in the United States. That's one measurement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you accept that? Now, John, you're from Sweden, for people who don't know, right?
Yeah. I'm from the Atlantics. Yeah. Uh,
Hey,
no one
John,
cares about my views anyway.
John, can I ask you a slightly different question?
Yeah.
How old are you, mate?
48.
48. So you know your music, right? And you're in Sweden, you're in the land of pop, right? So you know your music.
Oh, you
Are
mean
you?
ABBA? Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the land of pop. I mean, Sweden does good pop music, still
No,
does it.
the only way I'm participating in this is that Carly had the first single Locomotion released here in
Yeah.
Italy in '87. That's why I'm here.
In Italy.
Yeah.
Are you in Italy or Sweden?
No, I'm in Sweden, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But Kylie had the first single, Locomotion, released in Sweden and Italy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't know that?
Locomotion. And you loved Locomotion, right?
No, I don't think it's a particularly good song, no.
Okay.
No.
Hey, can I tell you something that's really interesting, John? This might
Yeah.
interest you.
Yeah.
Tension 2, 100%. No, listen, hear me out, hear me out.
Yeah.
Just take another sip while you hear me out.
Yeah, I
Tension,
think it was a.
yeah, take another sip. Tension 2
Yeah.
has very Swedish influence. It
Oh,
really does.
what a shame. Yeah.
What do you mean? What a shame. A lot of the writers and the producers are Swedish on Tension 2.
Who are they?
Oh, I don't know their names. The one who wrote Padam Padam, she's on it.
Who's that girl?
Oh, I don't know. Aren't I terrible? Aren't I a terrible radio host, but I don't know the name? I can't think of her,
Okay,
but
so give me another. Oh yeah, I know there was one of that awful song called no, my oh my whatever. Yeah,
yes, terrible song.
yeah, that's what it was.
Terrible.
And that I know about.
And
There's a girl
Tuvalu?
from Sweden
Tuvalu?
doing that. This girl was Tova. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, John,
Well, yeah.
what are you drinking, mate?
No, I'm okay. Yeah, I do drink. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but what are you drinking? Like, is it wine or scotch?
No, it's actually apple cider mixed with vodka, so that's quite okay.
Oh, fine. That's a toxic combination, isn't it? Hey,
Not for me, no.
not for you. It tastes good.
Yeah.
Okay. So my challenge, which I issue to you still, even though it's going to be hard for you to do, is to listen to Tension 2. Will you accept my challenge?
If it's going to lead me to, yeah, I will accept. If it's going to lead me to be able to do adjustment, yes.
It's going to lead you to something even better, John. Do you want me to tell you what it's going to lead you to?
Please do.
Okay, are you ready? It's going to lead you to pure orgasmic joy. Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds delicious.
So
I know.
sounds every bit as good as that apple cider.
How many gay guys do you get by this? I don't know. I'm not.
I'm not coming on to you, John.
No, but I just, it's so stupid. This place.
You haven't heard it. You don't know. It's not
Well, what
stupid.
have I haven't heard? Is the album, or is it something you're going to say?
Tension 2, John. I'm going
Yeah.
to come
Is
back
it
to you.
that
I
one?
promise.
Okay, is it that you're going to play me? Or is something you're going to say yourself that's going to blow me off?
What? Say that again?
Is the Tension 2 album you're going to play me that I'm going to have to respond to?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not going to play it for you. You've got to go to
I
YouTube.
thought it was a wank off video with you or something. I just
No, we're not going to sort of listen to Tension 2 and masturbate. No, that's not happening. You
it's
won't.
impossible.
Yeah, well, that's true. We're so far apart, right?
Yeah, no, it's just the music's not going to be no.
You're going to
Whatever.
love it. You're going to love it.
Okay.
You're going to say, Tim, you are my
Me,
savior. Tim, thank God you reached out to me from Australia. You're going to say, Tim, you've
Tim,
changed my life.
it changed my life.
That's right. After you listen to
I'm going to
Tension
do
2.
that in Australia. Because I'm from Sweden, so sometimes it's too quick for me to hear what he's saying, and that's why I'm in a way I drink because I knew this was going to be a hard interview for me to do because
Really?
I'm not that quick.
Oh, John, I'm a pussycat. There's nothing to worry about.
Is that a helpful thing?
I'm not scary. You're doing really well. This isn't a hard
Am I?
conversation. This is just like talking to an old friend who's poking you about Kylie Minogue, saying, listen to her, listen to her. I do this a lot in everyday life, by the way. I annoy people. Say, have you heard Tension? Have you heard Tension 2? Have you? Have you?
No,
Have you? That's what
no,
I ask people, though.
no.
No. So do
I'm
you
not
live with
going to.
someone, John? Do you live with
What?
someone? Do you
What?
live do you live with someone, John?
No.
So you live on your own?
Yeah, I jerk off on my own. Yeah.
Stop it. Is there someone with you now?
No.
I was going to try and get them to help you to get to YouTube and listen to Tension 2. But you're just going to have to do it off your own steam.
We mean like I do listen to that now and that's like real time and then get back to you?
Yeah, yeah.
What the fuck? It's going to take an hour's time. Imagine. Uh, I'd seen, the Tension 2 is like 36 hours of music or something, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But do you need me to listen to it?
I need you to. It would
No, you don't are you going to do a mashup of this? You don't need. Just say this guy said this and this, and he didn't listen to it. Because actually, why is there attention to
That's a
in the
good
first place?
question. Why? Why is there attention to?
No, is she having a battle of cancer going on again?
Is she what? Sorry?
Having a battle of cancer?
No, she's very healthy at the moment. Very healthy.
How do you know?
How do I know? I'm looking at her and she seems happy and
Yeah, I look at
glowy.
you. The fact is that I've had, um, you know, I don't wish anyone cancer.
Of course
No,
not.
no, it's the worst thing in the world, and I think that it's I think cancer is worse than AIDS. It's worse than anyone could imagine,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that goes to children, parents, and whatever,
Now,
grandfathers,
John,
grandparents.
John, John, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. Would you like to meet Kylie Minogue?
Yeah, of course. I live in Sweden, so she's been here 3 times. In '89, I tried to meet her when I was 12 years old. So of
Oh,
course I would love to meet her, but I never had the chance.
okay.
No.
But more importantly, if Kylie was sitting with you now
Yeah.
and she was sharing an apple cider with you, what would you say to her? What would you ask her?
She was sharing a what?
An apple cider and vodka.
You added that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if she was there in your home
Yeah.
and she's sharing a drink with you, and
Yeah.
you just picture this, you look into Kylie Minogue's beautiful eyes, her beautiful Australian eyes. What do you say to her?
I'd say, well, it's about time.
It's about time she met you. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you'd chastise her. You'd tell her off. You'd say, "Where have you been since 1989? I was standing at the fence and you never looked my way."
Yeah. Just to make it as a joke. I've been in Sweden. Um, I've collected Kylie records since '88,
Yes.
and so I'm a huge fan. But in from a PWL days.
Yep.
So if she was sitting me right next to me now, I'd say, "Well, it's about time you came clean." Fuck, you know, you know
It's
that
about
what was,
time she came clean.
yeah, not just doing, because I always thought that after maybe 1992, she just turned sexy.
Oh, is that a bad thing?
No, every female singer has turned sexy since the, I don't know, 1950s or whatever.
Yeah, but
But
John,
yeah,
she couldn't dress forever in a long robe that disguises her beautiful figure, could she? She can't
no,
walk around in a dressing gown.
no, no.
No,
But the thing is that um, sex never came easily to her.
really. Sex never came easily to Kylie.
No,
You think?
yeah.
I think she had some raunchy sex with Michael
With
Hutchins.
who?
Don't you reckon?
Uh,
What do you think they
one of
got
the
up to
pictures.
behind closed doors?
I haven't seen the pictures of that.
Oh, There might be some Polaroids hanging around.
No, there might not be.
All right, now, John, we're going to. Tim's got to go to work, so I'm going to have to leave you. But can I? I'm going to set that challenge. I'm going to leave that challenge with you to listen to Tension 2 on YouTube because you can find it.
Christ, it's so boring.
No. You're
No,
going to.
it's just nothing to worry about.
And
Please.
John, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to talk to you again. Not you can sleep first. Sleep first.
Yeah.
Listen to Tension 2. Go to sleep, and then I'll talk to you in the next
It's a
24
shit
hours.
album, okay? It's just an album to produce more singles that she's had, overdue. And
That's what musicians do, John. They produce music so they can put singles out. Nothing wrong with that.
oh, please.
Oh, I like you, John.
No, you don't.
I do. I think you're a very nice person.
Well, thank you. No, but as us, why did you chose me to be on this? Since I was
Podcast.
gonna say, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Kylie today. No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
I know. So you're wondering why I chose you. It's because on one of the posts, which, by the way, listeners, Tim Power, you can add me as a friend. I asked the question, what do you give Tension 2 out of 10? And John, you might not remember, but you wrote, I give it a -3. And I wanted to talk to you because I was like, how could anyone listen to this wonderful Swedish influenced album, and give it -3? But then now that I'm talking to you, I discovered
Swedish
something.
influenced album.
I discovered something amazing. The man who gave it -3 hasn't listened to it yet. But
No.
now I understand why, though. I understand because you're a bit disappointed that Kylie isn't still in PWL land and she's wearing shorty shorts.
Yeah.
That's naughty, isn't it?
No, it's not. But whatever Kylie does that seems to be sexy is not sexy.
Really?
No.
What should she wear? If you were her William Baker, if you were her stylist, how would you dress Kylie?
My answer to that is who is William Baker?
He's a stylist who works very closely with Kylie. So you're her fashion guru. How would you dress her?
Okay, so in response, if I live in a I'm a guy, okay?
Yep.
Yeah. I live in a
A castle? A bottle?
yeah, no, a bottle, yeah. So I live
Okay.
in a bottle with a shed in the woods. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I have a big cock, I don't need a fucking house.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
Exactly. Carly hasn't got a big cock.
No,
No.
not that we know of.
No, whatever. You know, the meaning is she hasn't got a big cock, so don't make up as you do.
Don't make up as you do.
No, don't make up as if you would do. No,
Okay.
as
All
you
right.
would have. No.
Yep.
So I'm saying, if I have a big cock, I live a stylish home. People will come to me. Yeah.
Ah.
Charlie has a sense of sex that, just get your clothes off.
Get your clothes off.
Yeah, that's,
Hang
but,
on. John, so Kylie should perform in the nude?
No, you got me wrong.
I got you wrong. I thought I
Yeah.
might have. What are you saying?
I'm saying that from 1992,
Yes.
Kylie went on to turning sexy,
Yes.
and that meant, as she self revealed, I think, in the press, I got to take my clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant, of course, in, the appropriate time. Uh, um, you know, stylish
Yeah,
movement
yeah.
thing.
I don't know actually, but John, Tim's got to go to work. Isn't that sad? I've got to
What?
go.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could talk to you a lot longer.
All I'm saying is that Kylie went on from just being a household name, a girl next door, to turning sexy, which is very common. Yeah, I
Uh huh.
understand that.
Yeah, I understand that. So yeah, maybe if she'd stayed sweet and innocent, smiley Kylie, then you might listen to Tension too. But you've got my challenge. Tim's going to go to work now.
I'm never going to listen to Tension 2.
Sorry, say that again. You're never.
No,
Oh, come on, John. How can I
no.
convince you?
It's a Tension 2. It's a, it's a muck up thing.
A muck up.
Yeah. Tension 2
Okay.
is a muck up of something else.
Oh.
Yeah.
John, I need you to say one thing to me. Say, see you later, Tim.
See you later, Tim.
Well, there is one hell of a way to start a podcast. What did you think about John from Sweden, hey? I know you thought something. I bloody love him. I absolutely love him. I hope he comes back. And yes, I am determined and committed to getting him to listen to Tension 2. Why? No, not because I'm mean. I know he insisted he was never going to listen to it, but because a week on from its release, I am still so super hooked. I haven't been this in love with a Kylie album since Disco. I don't skip anything here. Well, actually, that's not true. You know what I skip. I skip the collabs. That's true. And I'm glad that they're all shuffled to the end of a deck so that I don't have to worry too much about it. But I truly think every new track is just pure and utter joy. And since offering my initial reactions, which were already very positive, I am even more, much more besotted by the lyrics and the very subtle but super, super clever techniques that are all through the production of these tracks. I really want to know what you think. There's truly not a dud on this album. This is one that I won't stop playing. I am so enjoying trying to wrap my mouth around. Well, let's just be careful where we go here. Wrap my mouth around the lyrics. I'm really enjoying that because they're deceptively tricky, actually. The lyrics on this album are deceptively tricky, but it's a very fun ride trying to get your mouth around it. Am I going to say that again? Get my mouth around it. Yeah, go and edit. Go on, make a fool of me. I want you to send me your thoughts also on a voice memo, if possible, at timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. And a shout out to our listener, Chris Maggs, a good friend of the show. Hello, Chris. He's sent me many, many pictures and videos of his newly acquired Tension 2 merchandise. We're going to talk about that with Nathan really soon. Is there too much? You know how I feel if you're a listener to the show. And Chris, you're absolutely right. Yes, you are, Chris. You heard it here first. You are right, my friend. The blue tinged packaging with the embossed lettering is super special. It's absolutely beautiful to look at. It makes you wonder why the devil they went with that green. I'm just going to use a bit of language here, friends. That bath tinged original cover. Why did they use that? Why? When there was this beautiful blue thing hanging around in the background somewhere. Just one little click of the mouse and the cover's beautiful. By the way, the fans have done it now. They've declared Tension 2 the worst album cover she's ever had. And I tend to agree. Now, in the last podcast, you know that we spoke with Ewan from the United States about the historic US arena tour. So much excitement. And a milestone that I hope you're not underestimating. This is an Everest moment in Kylie's career. But I am getting mixed reports about ticket sales. One listener wrote to me only a few hours ago to say that he believed, get this, Wait for it. Breaking news. We might be expecting some mysterious, can you see my air quotes? Some mysterious scheduling conflicts to start emerging very soon, which is, of course, code for cancelling shows due to poor ticket sales. I like to think that's not true. And boy, oh boy, and my oh my, she really is pounding the American media circuit as we speak. Have you noticed? She is truly the darling of the US scene. Those American radio hosts, now I know we've got, actually, finally, just as an aside, the bulk of listeners to this show are officially American. And I was very scared when I learned that fact. I knew we were having a growing American audience, but I never thought you'd surpass the Brits as the biggest listeners of Time to Talk. But you are officially now, at least in the last month, certainly are. So I'll try to be completely non-racist when I say this next line. Those American radio and TV hosts, stop it, Tim, brain, pull back, don't say it. They are fawning all over our Kylie. There's drool dribbling down their chins. Whenever they get to interview her, you can see it, all these little wannabes, American wannabes sitting there. It actually makes me a bit sick to see such royalty in the presence of such low-level amateurs. Americans too. Oh, God, I said it. I said I wasn't going to say that. Stop it, Tim. Have you noticed Kylie's also adopted a new, very casual look at the moment too? I don't notice fashion very often, but I'm noticing this. Lots of pastel jumpers, off-the-shoulder jackets. So this is my theory behind that, because that's not Kylie, usually. So I'm wondering if this tour is going to be brimming with very tailored high fashion costumes, and maybe, get this, it's a big conspiracy maybe, she's underplaying the fashion right now so that she can wow us all come February. Oh, God, I hate that word. Remember this came up last time? February. Maybe, just maybe with the fashion, Kylie is going to do a live in Dublin and emerge with her laced bottom wiggling all up in our business. Reminds me of Jazzy P. So if you know anything about those US ticket sales, please let me know. Time to Talk Australia at outlook.com. I really want to know what's going on. What is the truth? I've looked at the maps myself. It doesn't look too bad to me. And, okay, here we go. Madonna fans who probably aren't listening because they're offended that I haven't mentioned the M word in the past 3 minutes. But a point of clarification for all you mobsters who attacked me when I dared to suggest Kylie might be equaling or outselling Madonna's celebration sales at Madison Square Gardens, the holy grail of the United States. Okay, so I've got my hands out. I'm wrong, okay? Many of you have clarified that Madonna did 3, count them, I'm doing the fingers, 1, 2, 2, 3. Kylie taught me that. She did 3 dates at Madison Square Gardens, also known as MSG, by the way. If you're an Australian listener who grew up in the 80s, yeah, that's a really disturbing an acronym, isn't it? MSG. Well, there you go. So, yes, Madonna wins. Okay, it's early days. Who knows? Kylie still might win. I don't know. She might put on 3 more shows, and then you ravenous hounds can go and get stuffed, quite frankly. And very briefly, acknowledging the ton of feedback I have received about the very gay debate. That's the episode that went live recently. You are very split in your opinions about Madam Roast Beef and Sean, but probably the majority of messages have simply said that the whole episode was an embarrassment to the gay community. That's what most of you are sort of saying, in summary, that is. But a lot of you saying there was no winner. You couldn't decide who won because you were so distracted by the gayness of it all. So, sorry, gentlemen, Madam Roast Beef and Sean, it could be called a draw, after all. Both equally you lose, according to the feedback that I'm getting. Now, Nathan, you're in the fortress and you're helping yourself to my buffet over there in the corner, I've noticed. Just make yourself at home. You've been here a few times, I suppose I won't be offended by that. How are you, my friend?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're selling Madonna in the US, Tim. Get over yourself. You silly sausage.
Sorry, say that again, Nathan. I had to turn you right up. What am I silly about?
outselling Madonna in the US, you silly bitch.
How dare I? How dare I suggest
Silly.
it?
Well, you are silly though. There's a lot of things that she's going to be able to do, but I don't think that's going to be one of them, unfortunately.
You
But she's
really
doing
don't think
fantastic.
that okay, so think of two graphs. I know we're both not mathematically minded, but think of two graphs. Madonna was in these soaring peaks in the 80s and especially the 90s, right? Selling tickets. Madonna, who's still and always will be a global icon, her career's in decline. It is. It's not a new career. So I thought it was reasonable to speculate that while Kylie is ascending the mountain and Madonna, is declining, or what do they say? Descending the mountain, that maybe there'd be a little bit of equality happening there. I'm all
I
about
don't
equality.
think so. I think the thing with Madonna is that even without a hit right now, she's always going to be so important to like Americans in general, just because like they've all grown up with her. She's always going to be able to sell tickets because she's just that big.
I can tell you've just rolled out of bed, haven't you? Am I wrong?
Oh no, I'm not very well.
Oh, you poor
I've
thing.
not
You
been
weren't
very
well the other day.
No, but I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Well,
I'm
you're
being
still sparkly.
I'm being pulled along by Kiss Bang Bang.
Absolutely right. I mean, I can forgive you for sounding like Lucille Ball just for one episode. It's absolutely fine. And I can't wait to talk to you about Tension 2. But I just want a straight up answer from you, just a yes or no, just to save your throat. Do you think that there is any comparison between this album, Tension 2, and the PWL era?
No.
Look, I didn't think so either, but you didn't get the chance to hear John, who was in the Fortress just before you, right? You couldn't hear him. So I was trying to convince him to listen to Tension 2, and he was just stubbornly refusing. But he said that he didn't believe Kylie's done anything interesting since the PWL days. So I went down this sort of fake, not authentic track, probably desperation made me. And I said to him, listen, you've got to listen to Tension 2 because it is very similar to the PWL era. And do you want to hear what he said?
Go on.
Okay, stand by. It's a little bit like it in the sense that it's dance music and it's fun.
Fuck.
Are you okay, John?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Tell me what's funny, John.
Oh, fuck.
There you go, Nathan.
I'm very confused by that though. Not that she's not done anything interesting since PWL. I mean, that's very confusing. I mean, out of all the eras to really go for the one where she had no creative control whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he's from Sweden, so he should know his pop music. I would have thought that there were plenty of Turkish delights along the way in Kylie's career that he might have picked up on. But yeah, he clearly found it amusing that I said maybe he should listen to Tension 2. Oh dear, very funny. What are you making though of Tension 2, Mr. Nathan?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of detractors, unfortunately, about it.
Really?
But quite a few. I've seen a lot of what I like to call the Facebook girlies, the ones who like complain that she doesn't have hit singles and then don't stream. So I've seen quite a few of them complaining about the run lengths of the songs, and saying that the songs lack substance. And I mean, I just find that quite funny because, I mean, for a start, pop songs don't need to have substance to be valid. But also, I mean, Padam wasn't exactly like oozing in substance, but they were pretending that they liked it when it was a hit, weren't they? So I mean, I just found that quite funny, really.
And what is substance? Is she supposed to be singing about the war in the Ukraine? I mean, what exactly?
No, I agree. Like, it's a very silly criticism to make. I mean, fair enough if she was trying to make out as though these songs were heartfelt, but no, they're just really good clubbing.
And you're probably too young to know, but during Fever, one of the loudest criticisms in the midst of probably her biggest peak in her career was, I wish she's too old to be singing about the dance floor and hot pants. Stop it, Kylie. From her own fans, I'm talking about, which was remarkable. But here, I think she's managed to strike this beautiful balance. The lyrics are about themes of love and loss and feeling mourning and grieving relationships. They are. I think she's nailed something that is of substance to people of her age about relationships.
I think she has, but I mean, I don't think she's wearing it on her sleeve. I don't think she wants people to necessarily think like, oh, look at all the substance in these songs, and I think that's absolutely fine. I think that's brilliant. I love what she's doing. It's a really good, fun album.
What about
with
Hello,
very good
though?
songs.
Hello didn't stand out to like. I never disliked any of the songs, never. But there were some that I thought, you're sort of, the back of the pack and you're at the front. It's all shuffled around for me. Hello, which I really didn't pay much attention to, is the creepiest character style song ever. Hello, I am at your door and I know that you're awake and it's close to 4. Let me in. I'm the reason why something, why you're awake. And then basically let me in. We make a great mistake or something like that.
I love Hello. It's one of my favourites on the album.
Isn't it great?
The only one I don't like is Dance to the Music, as you know. But every other song that wasn't a collab, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I've even come to love My Oh My now. It's
no.
In the context of the album,
you have to get out of the fortress. Certainly get out of my buffet for a start. I mean, that's not okay.
In the context of the album, My Oh My makes perfect sense.
No,
However,
it doesn't.
I would not have had it as the initial release from the album. I completely agree that was a very bizarre choice. However, it does fit.
No, you didn't have to say that. You knew that would push my buttons.
Yeah, I just wanted to piss you off, Tim.
Well, mission accomplished. And listen, that's why I wanted to get you on for this conversation, actually, because the hot topic, believe it or not, on socials at the moment, besides maybe the ticket sales and all the celebration, of course, it's mainly universally positive. I mean, all the official reviews.
It's definitely the bulk positive.
It's incredible. Like, honestly, the goodwill at the moment. However, if there is something that's a little bit contentious, there is this growing, you can call it a movement amongst Kylie fans, and you know who you are, that are, and it's a legitimate point, they're saying that Kylie has reached the point where it is too much now. The vocoder, the auto-tune, the effects on the voice. They're saying Kylie no longer sounds like Kylie. Now, we mentioned this in the last podcast, but I wanted to bring you on to talk about it specifically because it's a growing movement in Kyliedom, in Kylie's kingdom, or Loverland, if we want to call it that people are saying we would have preferred songs like Hello, Taboo, if she just toned down the lyrics. Now, before we get into it,
Wait, what? The lyrics?
Sorry, if they tone down the auto-tune is what I meant.
All right, okay.
Sorry, I misspoke there. Before we talk about it, Nathan, I want you to listen in full to a friend of the show, Mark, who kicks us off for this part of the conversation.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Hey, Tim, I thought I would send you a voice memo on my thoughts on Tension 2. I actually really like it. I really hated Tension. I thought it was just horrible. I just didn't like it at all. But this, I think they're a really, really good set of songs, and I've really enjoyed listening to it over the last few days. My only thoughts are that they could have laid off the pitch correction on a couple of places, and that's in Good As Gone, or whatever the fuck it's called. Taking it off completely. Taking it off the verse in Kiss Bang Bang, and then slowly introduced it in the next bit, and then dropped it heavy in the chorus again. Other than that, I thought that the use of pitch correction was creatively done in this album, and I really liked the way that they made her voice sort of sound like it was a synthesizer rather than a robot, which I really liked. And I would have taken it off, Should Have Left You on the Dance Floor. I think that could have done without it. But I'm really, really surprised. I thought it was a really, really... I'm just surprised. I really didn't think that I'd like it at all. That's my thoughts on Tension 2.
So there you go, Nathan. That was Mark from Sydney, our Mark regular listener. Thanks for that, Mark. But it does kick off the sentiment that is growing on socials about, is she overdoing it these days, Nathan?
Well, as an out and proud hater of a large chunk of Kylie's fan base, I'm here to tell you all that you're all being very silly if you think that, because at the end of the day, who are we to complain and criticize Kylie for her artistic expression like that? Like, fair enough, if you really don't like a song, say, oh, it's not for me at all. But, but like, at the end of the day, Kylie has fought, kicked, screamed, done everything within her power to maintain her career to this point. She's successfully done that, and she has done a fucking cracking job of it, to be completely honest, because I mean, who would have expected Padam Padam to take off in the way that it did, which funnily enough used autotune. So
it was the feature of the song, wasn't it, really?
Exactly. Who are we to sit moaning about Kylie using her own artistic expression in her own work? To be honest, we're nobody. Like, I understand that we've supported her, but we don't own her. Like, a lot of Kylie fans seem to think that we own her, but we don't.
Pot kettle black. You're the one who's always telling her what to do next.
That's me voicing my opinion, but I'm also not sat criticizing her from an artistic perspective. Like I say, what I'd like to see from her, but if she doesn't do that, that's also absolutely fine. I mean, I'm sorry, but let's just harken back to Kiss Me Once. Everybody was criticizing her for her artistic expression at that point. And to be honest, I would argue that that's probably why she did such a sharp U-turn on the album, and why we got an album that other people weren't very happy about.
Look, I'm in two minds about this one. I do respect where people are coming from, because Kylie's natural voice is so lush and so personal and intimate for fans who've been around for a long time, or new fans for that matter. Her voice is very calming. It has a calming effect on us. So when it gets drowned, especially when you take an example like My Oh My, which was so hideously overdone that it deserves every bit of artistic criticism, or whatever you just called it. So, but at the same time, I do think people are missing the point that this new era and the Tension era it's for style. It's not because she can't sing, it's a style. And again, then I flip to the other side. Other people are saying, but that style is deliberately done to attract the TikTok audience, and that's leaving us in the dust.
And do you want to know why that's deliberately done to attract the TikTok audience, Tim?
To keep her vital.
Because none of you fucking stream.
Oh,
so
don't.
If you'd have streamed, Kylie for the past 6 years, maybe she wouldn't need to be going for a new audience. But alas, you didn't stream.
Oh,
did you?
Nathan, that is such any excuse to shove that in. Are you really saying that if Kylie fans, the naughty older ones like me, had streamed more often, we'd be getting a more natural Kylie voice?
Well,
come on now.
I think if we as a fan base had have supported her via streaming more, it actually might have meant that she
Where's
wasn't.
my yawn sound effect? I've heard this 4,000 times.
Oh, well, it's just the truth, though, isn't it, Tim? Like, if she wants to be sustainable, she needs that. She does need that streaming base. So
I'm going to take your point, though.
And I understand why she would be trying to appeal to them right now.
Look, this is how I'm one of them, right? Who I'm probably not as vocally critical as some, although there'll be plenty of listeners who just fell off their lounges just as I said that, because apparently I am, but I'm really not. I don't believe I am. However, I'll say this. We all think we're experts, but somehow Kylie has managed to have a career, as you're saying, that's sustained itself for this long. So even though we might think, oh, it's so... not authentic to be trying to attract TikTok. Well, if she wasn't, as you've just said very well, if she wasn't, then she might not be here for us at all.
Exactly. I think that is the real thing. Like, we want Kylie to be able to do her fabulous tours. We want Kylie to be able to actually do a global tour like she's doing right now. And what was the driving force behind this tour? And it was undeniably Padam. It was undeniably this new generation of fans that she's managed to attract to herself, that she's done off her own back. And she did do with the use of heavy auto-tune effects stylistically. And I have no problem with her doing that. I wanted to do whatever helps her continue.
Well, look, in the last, or I don't know if it was the last episode, we had a guest from the UK who does listen, Andrew. By the way, Andrew, the Fortress loves having you on. You said something that I didn't really acknowledge at the time because it didn't sink in. His first reaction after listening to Tension 2, maybe 3 times or so, was that it had a really Eurovision influence. And I think I even had a light mock of him at the time. But Andrew, if you're listening, now that I've listened to Tension plenty and know it intimately and really well and have examined it and explored it and torn it apart and loved it, I understand it actually does have a Swedish sound to me now that I'm listening to it. So, Andrew, props to you. You absolutely nailed it. Do you reckon it's got a bit of a Swedish twang to it, Nathan?
Well, if I'm honest, I don't really know about Swede. I don't really know what that would.
Well, Padam, for example, is Swede pop, I would say. Like, it's a good example of that. And then when you look at the credits, she's worked with a lot of Swedish producers and writers on this album too. So it all fits together.
Oh, right. I mean, whatever it is, I really like it, I think.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I'm a big fan of it. I mean, I don't understand why would Eurovision equate to Sweden? I think that's what I'm missing.
Oh, well, you're probably 100% right. That's probably my ignorance shining through. I don't know. There's,
because Eurovision is very much a European,
right?
It's a European song contest. It's not just a Sweden thing.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean by that. You're absolutely right to pick me up on that. I have no idea. I think probably because ABBA won Eurovision one year. That's probably why my brain's making some connection.
To be honest, though, I mean, I've said it to you before. I would have loved if she'd have done essentially a middle of Eurovision performance and akin to Madonna. With Padam, I would have absolutely loved if she'd have done that at the time. Like, when
Did we not learn anything from Madonna? It is not a forum for big international stars to make fools of themselves. No, it's not. Don't do that.
I think they just got her microphone setting.
Danny can do it. Sorry, did you say Madonna's performance was only lackluster because of the microphone?
I think they just got her microphone settings wrong. I loved her intro for that performance. I thought she did fabulously.
Your head is so in the sand.
I mean, she sounded terrible, but from what I've heard, it was a microphone issue.
Yes, she said that, and that's why she corrected the version on YouTube now, which is all dubbed over. And of course she said, what does any superstar say when they have a shocking performance? Mariah Carey?
Either way, though, I don't think that was necessarily... I don't think that necessarily says, right, nobody else should do that. Because just because somebody sounded not very good on that stage doesn't mean that...
No, it's the wrong forum. I know there's a lot of people who listen to this show who love Eurovision, but Kylie is above it.
I know, but it attracts such a large audience, and it's the audience of it as well is really quickly veering, like, dramatically younger. But there's a lot of young people who absolutely love Eurovision, and I think that would be a brilliant way to reach those people.
Hey, Time to Talk family. This is Tim Power, host of the podcast where amateurs talk about icons. To keep our show commercial free, we rely on your support. Many of you have chucked in just a couple of bucks, or sometimes more, which lets Time to Talk Australia pay its way. There's no obligation, of course. Keep listening to us no matter what. Liking and sharing our content is also a huge help. But if you do hear something that you like and you think you can support the show by throwing in a couple of bucks, head to patreon.com/Time to Talk Australia. The link is in the description of this podcast.
Hi Tim and Time to Talk listeners, this is Danny from Melbourne, and I'd just like to say your latest podcast made me very angry.
And as always, we want your voice memos. If you've heard something that you agree with, or possibly you're outraged, and let's be fair, many of you listen simply to be outraged, then take out your phone and record a voice memo. Cap it at around the 2-minute mark, and then send it to me. I listen to all the voice memos that come through, and occasionally we include them in the show. Our email is timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. Thanks for sharing, rating, contributing, and donating to this very little podcast from Down Under. I genuinely love our Little Time to Talk family, because lovers of pop are an endangered species. So, why don't we go extinct together?
So that's all I have to say. Get off the airwaves, you're such an amateur.
Hey, the other grumble, Nathan, about this era is, well, I mean, and every era since going back however long you want to think, the multiple versions of Tension, I can't even keep up with. There was another one announced just today, an extended versions or something. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, it's a digital only.
What is that anyway? No, I'm not even going to ask because I refuse to buy into it. Kylie, if you're listening, I think I have so much engagement with Kylie fans. People write to me, they talk to me, they send me messages, and I do my best to talk to them all. I know, and I said in a couple of years ago, I said, I think you are. Now I'm going to say, Kylie, I know you are taking advantage of the goodwill of your fans, and you've got to stop it. Again, this might come back to Nathan's point about do what you can to stay on top, and having multiple versions guarantees you number one and all this sort of stuff. But you don't do it at the expense of your fans. I've got lovely, lovely people reaching out to me who don't have enough money, who are showing me the photos of this huge Tension 2 collection, which is ridiculous. And I just, my heart breaks for them. That they shouldn't be being encouraged by their idol to fork out money that they probably can't afford on all of these versions. Stop it.
Well,
Go on.
I understand that stance. I do, and I'm not going to just turn around and say, "Well, you're wrong," like I usually would, because actually, no, I do. I understand but the difference is that I'm not really a collector in that way. I don't sit and buy every variant of Kylie's albums. I get the ones that I like, and nobody is forcing me to buy them. And to be honest, for a lot of people, those variants do bring them a lot of joy. I mean, one of my friends, he's got absolutely loads of them. He loves having them on display and things like that. They do genuinely bring him a lot of joy. Like, I mean, I got the digital variant. What I've actually done this era, which you're going to probably laugh at, I'm not going to buy any of the physicals until next week, because I want to contribute to her staying within, the top 5 or whatever.
You're not going to talk about streaming again?
No.
Okay. Well, why do you want to? You're trying to. Sorry, I think I missed your point. You're trying to contribute to her second week sales.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
What a good idea. Because hang on, let's just, for those, Nathan, who don't get the context here, I think most people would, but Kylie has a tendency, and Madonna too, to have, because of their enormous fan base, to go rocketing to number one, and then they usually have records, literally records, for dropping the most in week 2. So tell us your new strategy.
Yeah, so because I saw... I tend to look at these. I've done it with disco, and I did it with tension as well. What I'll do is I'll monitor how the sales are going, and if I'm quite confident, like for example, this time I'm very, very confident that she will hit number 1.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to just not buy any other than the digital one, which is the only one that I've got. I'm not going to buy anything, and I'm hoping that she'll release one of those multi-packs of cassettes. I'd like to get those, because I really do like the cassettes. But yeah, I'm going to get some of the physical copies next week, specifically to attempt to keep her maybe in the top 5. I think with Tension, she stayed in the top 10. Disco, she spent a month in the top 10, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm hoping to buy some to contribute to her hopefully staying higher up in her second week.
I think that's a marvellous idea. Like you say, as long as we're assured that week 1 is going to be a hit, because that's important.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, for example, when there was the Disco versus Little Mix's album, I did buy a couple of copies that week, because I was a little bit I was a bit worried, to be honest, because it was a really tight one. But yeah, like for example, this time it's pretty much solidified that it's going to happen.
You know what? We've had all this conversation, which has been brilliant, and I still don't really know from our Nathan, because you've been sick, so we haven't even really been sending text messages to each other. What's standing out for you about Tension 2? I know you love it almost as much as I do. I think I outpip you on that. I'm monstrously excited about this album. I truly am. I didn't think it could grow on me any more, and it has. I'm just in love because there's so much subtlety and cleverness under here. But how much do you love it, and what tracks stand out to you?
Okay, so my favourites are Kiss Bang Bang being the best one.
Kiss
on the
bang
album
bang, baby, kiss bang bang.
You see, that's what it sounds like if she didn't have any auto tune. But no. Sorry, I lost my voice there. Did you hear that?
Thought you were just choking on a peanut.
So Kiss Bang Bang, Good As Gone, Love Good As Gone, Taboo, and Hello. I would say those are the ones that are really, really big standouts for me. I hate Dance to the Music. I despise it. It reminds me of Unstoppable from Disco, and I fucking hated that as well.
Yeah, there is a comparison there. Yeah.
However, I think she's done a fantastic job. I mean, you've heard me prattle on for months at this point, Tim, about how much I want Kylie to go into that club scene. So, I mean, it's no surprise to you how happy I am that she has done such a cracking job of it and done it within a year. And I mean, people aren't really addressing what a big deal that is. Kylie has done this within a year with no real label support. She's managed to actually get this full album out. It might not be the longest album, but it's still a very high quality album. She's done that within a year with no label support. That is such an achievement. And I just think she's done an amazing job. And I so hope that she feels that as well, because it must have been a really hard, it must have been a really hard year to get all of this ready.
So hardworking, unbelievable. I've got to talk about Taboo just for a moment too, because you try not to be insulting, Tim. Try not to be insulting. You wouldn't have the attention span to be a Simpsons fan, would you?
I like The Simpsons.
Okay, well, there's an episode.
I'm not exactly a fan, but I've watched a lot of it.
So there's an episode where Apu, he needs to sell the Quickie Mart for whatever reason, and there's a whole musical scene where it's who needs the Quickie Mart, and it's a very upbeat, sort of theatrical number, and all the cast of The Simpsons go, "Who needs the Quickie Mart? Who needs the Quickie Mart?" All that sort of stuff.
This, yeah.
Right at the end, and it's one of my favourite bits of all Simpsons episodes. They've done this happy song. Apu's decided, no, I don't need the Quickie Mart. How ridiculous! And then they spy him on top of the roof like a wolf, and he does this. Just bear with me because I've got to try to get this right. He goes, "Who needs the Quickie Mart? I do." And whenever I'm listening to Taboo, I can't help it. I can't not picture Apu on top of the roof going,
I don't know why.
Well, because she goes, taboo.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. I see the link there.
It's never a good joke when you have to explain it, but there you go, folks. Nathan's got there in the end. So it ruins the song a little bit for me because it's silly, isn't it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. So I just think it's fabulous. And Good As Gone as well is brilliant. Really enjoyed that one as well.
Gone. And the lyrics in that song are so cool. They're super cool. I just can't stop raving about it. I could go track by track, but there's just not a dud. Your one about Dance to the Music, I had some thoughts similar to yours at the beginning, but it's very much a disco track, and I still stand by my initial reaction that it's got tinges of PWL Enjoy Yourself album. Actually, it could have lived there with an 80s production quite easily.
Yeah, I can see that. But to me,
but it doesn't fit, does it? With the rest is so clubby, and then you get this sweet sort of disco-y,
I feel like Taboo would be the song for the old guard of Kylie fans, shall we say?
But people don't. That's weird. Like, I mean, look, plenty do. But if there's one track that I've seen, it's rubbish. It's Taboo. I don't know why.
I'm quite shocked by that because I actually would have thought that would have been one of the standouts for, like I say, like the original Kylie fans, shall we say, the ones that I so often attack on.
Yes, and you do. Hey, isn't it interesting? You and I, neither one of us have mentioned the next single, which has now been confirmed.
I I like it. I like Someone for Me. That would probably be the next one that I would highlight. It's definitely a very good song. It wouldn't have been the one that I picked though. I would have picked Kiss Bang Bang, but
I think that here's my thoughts. I agree. I probably do prefer Kiss Bang Bang, but in terms of commercial and what needs to follow up lights, camera, action, and keep the tickets moving, I think people are going to be really intrigued with the lyrics of Someone for Me. Do you know what, Nathan? I was thinking, I can't believe no one's really written a song about that sentiment before. There's lots of songs about hating and being jealous of another couple and trying to steal the boy or steal the girl and
I do
sabotage.
like it.
This is beautiful. It actually celebrates the relationship, but sort of mourns the fact that I don't have it too. I thought, I can't believe no one's written a song about
It's
this
quite funny,
theme.
really, because you know what I thought of about Someone for Me? It was one of the first things that I thought about it was, why is this song not the one that Tove Lo's on? Because like if I was going to pick a song for Tove Lo to be on, it would have been Someone for Me, because it would have almost been like a spiritual successor to Really Don't Like You. You know, you see what I mean? It kind of is kind of like a natural progression of it, and I thought that one would have been brilliant for Tove Lo to be on.
Now, confirm for me once and for all: is it Tuvalu or Tove Lo? I'm sick of this.
It is Tove Lo. However, I'm going with
Tove Lo. That's a third incarnation. I didn't say that. I said Tuvalu.
Oh, bollocks! I don't know.
Well, it's annoying, isn't it?
All I know is that when she came on stage with Kylie very much pronounced it wrong, and I'm going with the Kylie pronunciation because
What did
I'm
Kylie
a Kylie
say?
fan. Tove Lo.
Did she? I think it is. I've always said Tove Lo. So they were just squeezing it into the lyrics when they went do do Tuvalu do do do. That
No, I
being
think it's Tove Lo.
Yeah, but she doesn't say that in the song. Why won't anyone listen to me? She says Tuvalu in the My Oh My song.
I feel like she's just got an accent.
Oh, you think I'm just being a bit racist?
No.
Accusing me of racism again on my own show just because I'm Australian. Yeah. Now listen, mate, you want to come around the back and I'll show you racist, all right?
I wouldn't do that, Timothy. I use your podcast as a platform to hate on other Kylie.
You certainly do. You certainly do.
Yeah, but not you.
What's that?
Everyone, not you, Tim. Everybody else.
I remember the first conversation we had, and it certainly was me. I didn't know. You know, I don't know if you've listened back to it, but that first conversation.
Warmed to you now.
Yeah, he's not too bad after all. The first conversation we ever had, hand on heart, I listened back to it because I had no idea what you were talking about.
Oh, what can I say? It's like one of those you see those memes where it's like somebody stood at a whiteboard and they've got like 1,000 points in like a big spider diagram. It was very much like that. I was really annoyed about it at the time.
Of course, you're describing yourself as a genius in that meme, right? Yeah,
somewhat genius, somewhat crazy. I feel.
All right,
I'm correct on it. However,
of course,
I
always
didn't do a great job of explaining it. I will agree to that.
No, I mean, honestly, he was talking about twisting the volume button to the left and 80 degrees to the right again, and then standing on your head. It was ridiculous. Nathan, how are you doing? People want to know how you are.
I'm fine.
In general, not just the sore throat. Because last time we spoke to you, you were moving. Is everything working out for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all's good. My rent's cheaper. So
that's always a good thing.
Main. Yeah. I'm going to see Kylie in Sheffield, which is going to be very fun. I managed to get a ticket that was, I think, 3 from the front.
Ooh.
And it was really good pricing as well. Like, I was really impressed with it. Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah.
So I'm not in the middle section. I'm on one of the side sections. But yeah, three rows from the front, and I think it cost me £180. So I know, I was really happy with that.
Yeah, good on you. I mean, that's really good. The United States people are complaining about the price of those particular tickets. Like the general ones are pretty apparently equivalent of other stars, but those ones, particularly, it was Ewan on our last show who said the one, where's all the famous people live? Los Angeles, right?
Oh, LA,
there, they have deliberately, by the sounds of it at least, it's our speculation, and Ewan agreed with me, because it's where all the VIPs are going to come, those ticket prices are going for the thousands in that ring around the centre stage. Thousands.
Well, I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, because I was quite disappointed when I've been seeing about ticket sales. Not because she's doing badly, because she's not, but I've been quite disappointed when I saw that, you know, it was essentially the equivalent of surge pricing, but apparently I don't think it's the same as in the UK. I don't think Kylie actually has a say in it in the US. I think it's just kind of a standard thing that happens.
What is
I don't
surge
know.
pricing?
Yeah,
And what does that
essentially.
mean? That at the beginning, when the demand is high, they charge more, and then over time it becomes less, maybe?
I think it just goes off of the overall demand.
Right.
But yeah, I
That's not
don't
how it
know.
works here.
I
I don't
don't
think
know
they'd
if
get away
it's
with that.
I don't know if it's true, but
Right.
well, for example, you can enable that in the UK. You can
Oh.
enable that in the UK, and this is why I don't believe that she's done it, because if she wanted to, she could have enabled surge pricing in the UK, where she's going to sell the most tickets, and she didn't. So, because basically, the way Ticketmaster do it in the UK is the artists themselves have to agree to use surge pricing.
Right.
And it's actually been quite a controversy over the years. Because obviously people, I mean, Oasis did it. I mean, I despise Oasis, so I was loving it. But,
During their recent announcement.
yeah, they did it.
Right.
And people were absolutely furious. But Kylie didn't. There was no surge pricing to be seen for her entire UK dates.
Wow.
So I think it might just be Ticketmaster doing it. But
Wow.
I don't know. And if it's not Ticketmaster doing it, shame on you, Kylie. However, if it is, then obviously I guess her hands are tied.
I guess so, but I'll be really honest and completely ignorant here. I've never heard of that in Australia, and Australian listeners, you'll attest to this. I've never even heard of it. The ticket is for ticket price. It's as simple as that.
As it should well be. I completely agree. Like, you know, regardless of who's done it, it's awful. And I
mean, they'll always segue some sections off and say they're huge, like they're VIP or Splash Zone, for example, and all of that. But I've never. If they did surge pricing, I'd be so upset, because I was very quick off the mark. I was, by miracle, got right through during the pre-sale and was pretty much straight through in a couple of minutes. So I must have just hit the button at the right time. But if you're telling me that because the demand was high at that time, my ticket might have cost me more, which was already enough, frankly. Oh, wow. I'd be very hurt and
I would have been
wounded.
disgusted. I was dreading it, if I'm honest, Tim, as well. I completely agree with you, because the first thing that I thought was, oh God, I hope she doesn't do surge pricing. Because
Right.
Not even for the money side of things, but I was just like, that would just be a PR nightmare.
All the listeners will be booing at me when I say this, but that's how Uber works.
Yeah, literally.
And can I tell you how I know that? I left with my son. I left the Rebel Heart tour in Sydney, and I thought I'd just get an Uber, and I didn't know it was based on supply and demand. So I went into the app. I think it was one of the first times I've ever used it. And I am not kidding you when I say this 5-minute drive, because I didn't want to walk down the highway with my 7-year-old son, was going to cost me $480. And I was just, my son was fascinated because I'm showing him the phone like Mr. Bean going. Anyway, I plugged it in again about 15 minutes later, and it had come down to like $30. So there you go.
Yep, surge pricing. It happens in a lot of things, but I mean, Ticketmaster are getting a hell of a lot of flack for it. And rightfully so.
Surge pricing. I have learnt something new. Nathan, have you enjoyed being in the fortress again, even though you're sick?
Of course. I get to hear the sound of my own voice. And of course, speak to you, Tim, which is always lovely.
For those of you who don't know, Nathan famously only listens to his own segments of the podcast. One of my podcasts went up recently. I'll leave you with this, because then I'll let you go back to your sick bed. One of my podcasts went up live at a certain time a couple of weeks ago, and someone wrote to me after, I don't know, let's say 45 minutes, and said, I really enjoyed that episode. And I wrote to them and said, you can't have listened to it, because it goes for like an hour and a half, and it only went up, so mathematically you couldn't have. And they went, oh no, I listened to you at double speed.
Oh,
Can you believe that?
I do like that, though. I do like that.
Sorry, hang on. You are not shocked? You actually know about this?
Oh no, I love doing stuff like that.
What do you mean? You listen to podcasts at double speed?
I'm not really a podcast girl in general, to be honest.
Podcast girl.
But no, I'm not though. But I do a lot of like YouTube videos, for example.
Can you take it in at double speed? It's not possible.
Oh, easily.
Oh, stop! It is not.
No
one's brain can do that. No.
For example,
what do I sound like at double speed?
I've not listened to you at double speed. I don't do it all the time.
Probably sound a bit like you.
Yeah, probably like a little chipmunk. Yeah. A very hateful chipmunk.
No, not at all. A Kylie advocate is what you are. A Kylie advocate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
Go and gargle, salt wash, lemon. Madonna would advise a vitamin B shot right in the backside. Straight to bed with a flannel. But that's not what you're going to be doing, is it?
No, I've got to work, unfortunately.
Oh, you're working?
Unfortunately so, yeah.
Oh, dear. You need to take the Great Australian Sickie, mate.
I've done too many of them.
Oh, they're getting up you, are they?
No, they're not, to be fair. I have fantastic work. But anyway, have you stopped recording yet? I didn't know if you were.
Sorry, the listeners are now intrigued. What goes on when he presses the stop?
Well, we gossip, don't we, for a couple of minutes? Usually.
We usually do have a little gossip. That's why we talk about all those awful American listeners. I mean, sorry, we're talking about all those awful Madonna. No, not that. People who love Betty Boo, don't we? Yeah.
People who own guns.